Is your mind in a constant battle? Do you fear trying new things because your ego keeps coming in and telling you it's not safe? Are you afraid to leave your comfort zone because every time you try, your mind, your own mind tells you that's too risky, that's too scary, that's dangerous, don't do that, this will happen. This is an ego battle or an ego death. We go through these from when we're going through awakening. It's the battle between the ego and the soul, the battle between the past and the future, the battle between the comfort zone and your new life. This is very hard to overcome, especially when you're in the depths of it, because it's constant. The ego is loud, it's fearful, it's aggressively telling you you can't do this because it's dangerous, whereas your soul is soft and quiet. The secret is trying to tame the ego and follow the soul. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach and I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse. The ego battle is, it's one of the hardest parts of awakening. It's shedding that old belief system. It's shedding that old comfort system. The ego tries to keep us safe, but the ego tries to keep us safe based on the caveman mentality. You know, back in the day when we were living in caves, we couldn't go outside the cave for fear of being killed by a saber-toothed tiger. Our ego mind is still working on that basis. So anytime we try something new, it's going to come in and say, come back, don't do that, you're going to die, you're going to die. And that's the thing, like, you know, when we're in the depths of an ego battle, this noise is loud. This noise in our head is loud. It's like anytime we try something new, or try to step out of our comfort zone, the ego comes in loud. And we know it's the ego because it's old, it's outdated. And that's the thing, like, you know, I think collectively on the planet we're going through an ego death at the moment because we're on the verge of a new beginning. We're coming into the 8-8 portal. Manifestation powers are high. We're going through a transformation. We're coming into this new beginning. And the ego battle tends to happen when we're on the verge of something new. Now, I've gone through numerous ego battles through my, and ego deaths through my awakening. And the way I liken it to, and I've done this in other readings, it's like you're on two boats. You've got one leg on one boat that passed your comfort zone, one leg on the new boat, which is your future, your new beginning, your prosperity, your abundance. And you're literally standing on two boats and your legs are literally being dragged apart and you don't know what to do. You don't want to stay in the old boat anymore. You know that it doesn't serve you anymore, but it's comfortable. And it scares you to leave that comfort. But the new boat, you've had a taste of that. You've had a taste of this new beginning. You've had a taste of what life can look like. And you want more than anything to jump onto this new boat, but you're scared. You're scared because your ego tells you that it's dangerous not to try new things. Don't risk this. You could die. You could hurt. You get hurt. You could fail. And it's just hard. Like when we're going through, like we want nothing more, especially when we're going through awakening. We've gone through this hermit phase. We've gone through our cocoon phase. And we want nothing more to break out into that butterfly mode. We want this new beginning. We want to jump onto that new boat. We want to grab it with both arms. But it's like, it gets to a stage where you're not even, you want to jump, but your leg is stuck. It's like your ego is pulling you back. It wants you to stay where you are, where it's comfortable, where it's known. And the chatter will keep going. Anytime you say, I'm going to do this today, or I'm going to try this, your ego will come in and say, no, you can't do that. This is going to happen. You can't do that. This will happen. This will happen. This will happen. All these fear-based things coming in. And the way we can decipher this, the way we can understand this, is a lot of the fears that will come into your head are outdated. Like, I've been going through an ego battle the last week, and like I didn't realize it at the start, and I was just like, Jesus, where is all this fear coming from? I felt really old fear that I'd shed. And a lot of the fear that I was feeling was stuff that my granny would have feared, or my parents would have feared. Real old-fashioned kind of fear. And I'm like, that's not going to happen in this day and age. You know what I mean? So that's when I kind of deciphered then. I was like, Jesus, it's an ego death. It's an ego battle. And that's when I kind of was able to face it and understand it. And I not let it win. So when I'm going through an ego battle or an ego death, when I don't realise it at the start, it gets so, it's tit for tat. It's literally tit for tat, like, and literally you're having a fight in your mind, and that's what it feels like. You are literally having a fight. There's two people in your mind, whether there's your ego and your soul, it's two of you, literally having a full-blown argument in your mind. The ego will say one thing, the soul will say the next. And it's tit for tat. And it doesn't stop until you actually, it doesn't stop for me until I realise I'm actually going through an ego battle. Like, literally, my soul is like, you're going to do this. This is what's going to happen next. Da, da, da. Then the ego is like, no, you can't do that. You're going to fucking die. You know what I mean? So, like, you literally, it's literally tit for tat, and it's back and forth. Your mind is playing a game of fucking tennis here. It's like, it's constant. It's frustrating. It's depressing in a sense, because you're literally kind of going, what the fuck is going on? When you don't understand what's going on, you're literally kind of going, why am I thinking this way? Why are these thoughts coming into my head? Why are these fears that I had overcome coming into my head? Why are the fears that I don't even feel, that my ancestors felt, coming into my head? It's because your ego is trying to keep you stuck in your comfort zone, stuck in your bubble, and not let you escape. And that's what it is. And it's a constant fight against your ego to try and jump out of that old boat. So how do we tame this? How do we overcome it? We overcome it by understanding it. And that's what I feel with anything that we need to heal. We need to understand it. Like, for me personally, I need to know what my core wound is, what my reason is, what is it that I need to face for me to be able to actually face it head on, to release it and shed it. So when it comes to the ego battle, I need to understand it. And as I said, like, I could be going on for days with this constant battle of the minds going on in my head until I fucking go, Jesus, it's a fucking ego death. And like, this has happened so many times, and I'm going through it for days until I actually cop on that it's an ego death. When I realise it's an ego death, the mind shatters. It's like, you can't win anymore because my soul is stronger. And the stronger we get on our spiritual journey, the easier the ego battles are. Like, I would have had ego battles at the start of my journey. I hadn't a clue what they were. And the ego would nearly always win. It would debilitate you because the ego thoughts are fear-based. The ego thoughts are trying to keep you stuck. The ego thoughts, like, don't want you to leave the house even. Do you know that kind of way? They're like, don't leave. You're going to be safe here. Don't leave your comfort zone. And at the start of my journey, the ego would win, and you'd have this, you'd be depressed, you'd end up going back into your little box. But as we grow on our journey, as we get stronger and stronger, the ego gets quieter. The soul gets louder. The soul starts to win. And that's when it turns into a tit for tat. Because like before, like, you know, the ego could come in and say all these list of fear things that you have to be afraid of. And you'd kind of resign to the fact, the ego is right. I'm not going to do anything. I quit. That's fine. I'm done. Whereas as we get stronger on our journey, the soul starts going, oh, no, that doesn't make sense. That's not right. That's not true. That's not going to happen. So that's when the battle starts. It's literally the ego said something and the soul will be like, no, you're wrong. Ego says something else. Soul's like, you know, you're wrong. But it's constant until you actually see this is what's going on. Because for days last week, I was literally going through this and I was like, for fuck's sake, where are all these fears resurfacing from? You know, it doesn't make sense to my mind. And that's when I was like, this is an ego battle, an ego death. We need to start trusting in our soul and not trusting in the ego fear. We need to start trusting ourselves more. Trusting that what we're hearing is not the truth. Trusting that all this fear chatter is false. Trusting that the ego isn't actually right anymore. We are safe. We are safe to take risks. We're safe to leave our comfort zone. We're safe to try new things. We're safe to welcome in this new beginning. And that's why I feel it's happening at the moment. Ego ego deaths and ego battles tend to happen when we're on the verge of something good, when we're on the verge of a new beginning, when we're on the verge of change. And that's the thing, like, this is it, like, you know, we've been waiting so long for this new beginning. We've done all that hard work in hermit mode. We've done all that work in our cocoon phase. We're ready for this new beginning. We're excited for this new beginning, but it's still unknown. And because it's unknown, it makes us scared. It makes us want to revert back to our comfort zone. And that's the thing, like, the analogy of the boat, like, we're literally holding on to this old boat, wanting to jump onto this new one, and we're kind of going, what the fuck do I do? I want this new beginning, but it's so comfortable here. And it's not even that comfortable, to be honest. It's just known. It's familiar. You've kind of been in this mode for such a long time that you're kind of like, how do I escape it? Or how do I leave it? It's the same as like leaving a long-term relationship that's toxic. We become codependent on it. And that's the thing, we're codependent on our comfort zone. We're codependent on that familiarity. We're codependent on that known. And even though we're getting excited for change, we're getting excited to embrace this new beginning, we're still in this fight or flight mode. And it's like the old mentality. It's like, but if I don't try, I won't get hurt. If I don't try, you know, I won't fail. You know, and it's like, this comes down to an open heart. Like, you know, really it does. Everything is based on our heart. I believe that so wholeheartedly, is that when we live with an open heart, we can embrace things a lot easier. We can let in this love a lot easier. We can let in this new opportunity a lot easier. We can let in this new beginning a lot easier. But with the ego, I think keeps us in a closed heart mentality, because it's like, we think that the ego makes us think that if our heart is closed, we're safe. You can't get hurt if your heart is closed. You can't get hurt if you don't try something. You can't get hurt if you don't let people in. You know what I mean? And this is false, because the more we close off, the more we listen to this ego, the more we stay in that little bubble of this comfort zone, the lonelier it is, the less abundant it is, the less happy it is, and the more fearful it is, because you're in this box, you're afraid to get out of it, and you're literally, things get darker and darker. So we need to learn to escape that ego mind. We need to understand that we're not living in that system anymore. We don't have to live in that way anymore. It's not unsafe for us to try new things. It's not unsafe for us to open our heart. It's not unsafe for us to trust. You know, and I know because of a lot of what we've been through, you know, our traumas and whatever pain we've gone through in the past, we're afraid. We went into the comfort zone kind of more so than we ever did, because of certain traumas that we went through for to heal. We cocooned to heal. But because we were in it for so long, and we were doing such intense healing in the comfort zone for so long due to pain and trauma, it's harder for us to escape it. It's harder for us to come out of it this time. And that's the thing, like, you know, I remember like a few years ago when I started my spiritual journey and I started the law of attraction and started manifesting for the first time. I was excited. I was like, fuck the past. I'm running to the future. And I was so excited, and I let in the new life with open arms. But because of a lot of pain that I went through in the middle of my journey, say, losing a lot of friends and family members, having to go into complete isolation, complete hermit mode in order to regain my strength, regain who I was, find my life again, and build myself up to what I am now, it was harder for me to leave the comfort zone than it was previously. And I think that's what's going on collectively at the minute, is that it's harder for us to leave the comfort zone this time because of the pain we endured to go into the comfort zone. So that's the thing we're shedding. Like, you know, we might have this battle of the minds, but it's actually a battle of the heart. You get me? It's because of the pain we've endured that we have this wall up. And that's why we're more susceptible to listen to the ego, to that fear, to the comfort zone, because it has kept us safe while we were healing. And it did. But we don't need to be in that bubble anymore. It's time for us to embrace that change now. It's time for us to get in the new beginning that we deserve after doing all that hard work. So we have to start trusting again. We have to start opening our hearts more, and we have to start listening to our soul over our ego. Trust that we don't need to be wrapped in cotton wool anymore. We went through our cocoon phase. We are now in the butterfly mode. We have to embrace this new beginning. And what keeps us delayed or keeps us a little bit stuck is that ego-based mindset, that ego battle, that battle of the minds telling us, what way do I go? Trying to keep us back here. So ask yourself, are these fears real? Because 99% of the time, fear is choice. We choose to be afraid of something that has never happened or will never happen. Do you know what I mean? So we're creating scenarios in our head that will not come true. And a lot of the time, ask yourself, could this fear even be real? Is this fear even mine? Or is it this old ego that is trying to die away? Because as I said, the fears that were coming into my head were like old-fashioned fears. They were outdated fears. Fears of things that couldn't happen. Fears that my granny would have had or her generation would have had. Do you know what I mean? And that's when I was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, why am I having these fears of things that will never actually happen? And that won't happen in this day and age. Do you know, that kind of way? So ask yourself this. Are any of these fears real? Are any of them actually going to come true? Because they're more than likely not. Let go of that ego past. Let go of that old boat. Jump onto the new boat. Trust your soul. Trust what makes you happy. Because a lot of the time with the ego battle, your soul is saying something that will make you happy, make you fulfilled, make you healthy. And your ego comes in and says, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's too dangerous, too dangerous, too dangerous, too dangerous. Can't do that, can't do that. And it's like a chatter. It's a back and forth chatter. So trust in the truth. Trust in your soul. Trust in this new beginning that's coming in. And if you're going through this at the moment, trust that it's an ego death. Trust that it's happening because you're on the verge of something special. You're on the verge of something big. The ego gets louder when we're on the verge of jumping onto the new boat. When we're on the verge of leaving the comfort zone. When we're on the verge of embracing change. Now no matter what happens, the new beginning is coming, but we need to embrace it with open arms. It will delay our journey if we listen to the fear-based thoughts. So don't listen to them. Trust that there is a new beginning on the horizon and that you are ready for it. You're ready for it. And the only reason the ego comes in is because you are ready for it. It's a test. It's a test to see if you will revert back to your old ways for longer or continue on to your new beginning. This is a test, and it's the ego, as I said, the ego battles get easier as you heal on your journey. So this should be the easiest ego battle you have had thus far, because you're stronger than you ever were. Your soul is louder than it ever was. So trust that these fears are false. They're only trying to keep you stuck. Jump the fuck out of that comfort zone. Because when we do I love this quote, when we take a leap, the universe will throw us a net. But I also believe that our wings will sprout and we will fly. But if we do fail, we're going to be caught by the universe. So we can't fail. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that no matter what, we are divinely protected on our journey. We are moving forward into something magical, something beautiful, and something amazing. So trust that. The ego only gets louder when we're on the verge of new. So don't let this battle delay your journey. Don't let this battle delay your new beginning, because it is there for you right at your fingertips. So be courageous. Jump onto that new boat and fuck that ego mind. It is the past. It is false. It is no longer a part of who you are. Get out of that comfort zone. Embrace that new beginning and embrace this new life, because you deserve it. and trust that your soul will guide the way. The universe, God, will guide the way. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I would love nothing more than to help you on your path.